What is up, YouTube family and folks? This is Kevin's Perspective Podcast, back with another perspective because everything has a perspective. Welcome. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming in. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button as you come in the building. Thank y'all for rocking with me. We got a lot to talk about. We got some stuff to talk about today. Let's start with the sponsor. The sponsor of the podcast is Vocal Visions, expressing what is seen to accomplish a dream. That is the team. You feel me? So let's get straight to it, man. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. You see the thumbnail, you see the title. So there was a show the other night. My Vocal Visions brother KJ had his Humble Beginnings channel. Go check out the channel, Humble Beginnings, and they had a podcast episode about red flags. Red flags. We're going to ruffle some feathers with this. So they brought up a good bit of red flags, but one of them they asked, was a single mother a red flag? Now, in my opinion, right, I don't believe that a single mother or a single parent is a red flag, because I don't think that is an indicator of a problem. You know, a red flag is like an indicator of a problem. But I do think it's a yellow flag, because it's really just saying, let me pause for a second and be more observant and pay attention. Now, it's not that there's a problem, but I need to pay attention. I need to be more observant and analyze what's really going on. Let me turn my high beams on and actually watch where I'm going right now. It's kind of like, how I see it. So as far as whether a single mother is a red flag, no, I don't think it's a red flag. But a lot of times people see, or in the conversation kind of comes up because it's been in the manosphere. This conversation has been in the manosphere for a while, right? About whether this is a red flag or not. And a lot of people attribute it to the type of woman she is, or the co-parent being a red flag. But I want to come from a different standpoint, because we really don't talk about it enough. What a red flag could possibly be in this situation, because she might not be a red flag. She might be cool, but her kids might be a red flag. Her kids may be a red flag, or his. We talking about co-parenting or parenting in general. The kids may be a red flag. We don't see it as that sometimes. We don't even talk about it. You know what I'm saying? We don't even talk about it. We always go straight to whether they themselves are the red flag, or the baby mama or the baby daddy is a red flag. But the kids can be a red flag. How they act, their behavior, the disrespect, the chaos can be a red flag. You go to the house and they just showing up like,
who in the blue hell are you? What's more important, The Rock doesn't believe he caught your name. What's my name? Hell, my name is Booker. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Bro, that's a red flag, man. We don't want to talk about it, but it's the truth. The kids can be a red flag. How they treat the mom, or how they treat the parents, how they treat other people, how disrespectful, how respectful are they? How disciplined are they? That can all be indicators of a red flag. People want to act like kids ain't baggage. They can be. They really can be. And it's really the fact that they represent you, because they only do what you allow them to do. Yes, they have their own personalities. Yes, they are their own humans, these little humans that we raising, but they take after you and what you allow them to do at the end of the day, to be honest. Because they don't know that much. They don't know that much. So, yeah, that can be a red flag, man. A flag that we don't really want to talk about, but it's true. And it's something to take into account, because when you're trying to blend the family, or when you're trying to raise a family, especially as a man, when you're trying to come in as a family, you want to come into some type of structure. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to feel like you're coming in to change or influence everything. especially in the dating phase and the relationship phase. You don't want to feel like you have to overstep into a role that you really shouldn't be in because you're not the husband yet. Speaking of that, husband benefits. Let's talk about husband benefits, because that is a husband benefit. Being responsible for someone else's children is a husband benefit or a wife benefit. So I was watching the cruise season, right? And they had a live talking about wife benefits and husband benefits and being, living together before marriage, all types of stuff, right? So when he asked the question of what is a wife benefit, the context of the question is, what is something that women do that they probably shouldn't do because technically it is a wife benefit or a wife trait or duty, right? Like you doing stuff that only wives should be doing, but you're not even married. So that was the question. So when it went into that, answers start rolling off the tongue. They start rolling off the tongue. Yeah, women shouldn't do this, and the wife should do that, and it was a clear distinction about who should do what at that point. But when it got to husband benefits, this is when things start to get a little tricky, right? It's like there was some good answers still, and shouts to the show. There was some good answers still, but it was a little bit of a mixed up in the pause there because nobody ever really thinks about what a husband benefit is, because we always attribute husband benefits to just being a man. Like a man's presence in any situation, he should be this type of way, even though it should still be a distinction between what a man is in the situation and what an actual husband is in that situation. There's a distinction. For me, a husband benefit is responsibility. I am not taking on responsibilities until we are married. I'm not responsible for you. I'm not responsible for your bills. I'm not responsible for anything you have going on in your life until we're married. Now, when I say responsibilities, one of the reasons why is because whenever you get married, you are an extension of that other person. You are extensions of each other. You are representatives of each other. And I am not going to be responsible for anything that doesn't represent me. Now, it's definitely up to her and him to look at qualities in each other to tell whether or not this person is a husband, has husband qualities, or is husband material and wife material. You look at qualities, but you can see someone's qualities without them actually playing the role. We think that a man is supposed to provide just because he's a man, when that's not the case. Because everything he does before marriage is on his own merit, not because it's a duty to you. You should not have an expectation of him to do things that only a husband should do. Same thing with a wife. You should not have an expectation of her to do anything that a wife should be doing. You can look for the wifely qualities, but the expectations shouldn't exist. They don't owe you anything. They don't have a duty to you. The same way as a husband, I don't owe you nothing. The only thing I'm doing right now is showing you the qualities of who I am until we decide to make it official. Then you can make the expectations, because now I've committed to you and my duties of being a husband. Before then, if I pay for the date, it's because I wanted to, not because I had to. If I do something, it's because it's on my merit, on my time, with my resources that I wanted to do, not because I had to do it. And that's why I agree with Kayla's answer in the episode, because she said the same thing about sex when it comes to women. If she has sex with him, it's because it's what she wanted on her time at the time that she needed it, not because it was for him. Before marriage, nobody owes you anything. So responsibility, not being responsible for or being held responsible for anyone that I'm not married to. Or there shouldn't be an expectation of leadership as well. Now you can see whether I have leadership qualities or whether that guy has leadership qualities. You're supposed to be using that discernment to tell whether that person has leadership qualities. But it doesn't mean that he has to be in a leadership role to see that. Are they a good communicator? Do they have a plan? Can they problem solve? Do they listen and then put things in action? You can look for the qualities, but you shouldn't expect it. It shouldn't be a requirement. It should be no requirements until after the wedding. If there's a wedding. Until there's marriage. There should be no requirements until there's marriage. I see a lot of women be having requirements. I've been seeing this stuff especially on TikTok. I see these videos that say, yo, I require this. I expect this. And I'm like, I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm like, how do you have so many requirements? Now, you should have standards, right? You should have standards of things that you need and that you require for what you need in life and what you need to function and be satisfied and happy and to carry on. Like you should have standards. But as far as all these qualities and as far as all these requirements and qualifications, like, why do you have all those? Because you're not the one that's going to propose. You're not giving the proposal. So why do you have so many requirements? It's kind of like, if you go on Indeed.com, right? And you look at a job and it's all these requirements and qualifications and stuff up there. And you are looking for the job and you looking to see whether that job fits and their requirements and what they offer fit what you need. But the thing is, they're the ones that's doing the hiring. You're not hiring anybody. Tell me when I'm off base here. You're not hiring anybody. So it's like in relationships, what I see is you have all the requirements and qualifications and expectations as if you're doing the hiring just for you to sit back and wait on them to hire you. You're not giving a proposal. You're not giving an offer. That's all a proposal is an offer. When someone proposes to you, they've laid out who they are and they proposing to see whether or not you want to rock with them. And you either say yes or no. But if you're not giving the proposal, then why do you have all the requirements? They propose to you because you fit their requirements. And then you accept the proposal based off of your requirements. But you don't typically have more requirements than the one who's offering and proposing, right? Leave in the comments what you think, because I don't know. Maybe I'm off. But moving on. Going into leadership, right? So you're looking at whether that person has leadership qualities. But sometimes a lot of men don't look at whether or even taught whether she has followership qualities. Right? Because it's like she's looking to see, I need a man that's a leader. I need a man that can lead me. Well, do you follow well, though? Are you a team player? He can lead you, but do you follow? It's a two-way street here. And what leaders need to look at is, what qualities should they have to determine whether you even want to lead them? Are they even a person who can be led? They can say they want to be led. They can say they want to be submissive, but are you that type of person? Is she receptive? Do she listen? Do she comprehend? And does she apply what she learned? Can she take criticism? Because she's not perfect. Nobody is perfect. But can you be honest with her? Is she receptive? Is she humble? Forget submission. Forget whether she's submissive. Forget all that conversation. I hear that a lot. We always go straight to, is she submissive and is she feminine? Is she humble? Or do you have to check egos all the time? You can't be submissive without being humble. Well, actually you can. You can fake being submissive, but you can't fake humility. She can act like she's listening to you. She can act like she following you, but is she humble? If she ain't humble, she ain't gonna be receptive either. She's not gonna follow you. She's just gonna look like she's following you. It's gonna be like hitting the follow button on Instagram or something. She hit the follow button, but she's still doing whatever she want to do. Is she accountable? Or does she just blame everything on everybody else, including you? And blame everything on everything else, including you. Is she just a victim to every circumstance and never takes any accountability to her contribution to her circumstances and her decisions? Always, woe is me. Something's happening to me. Is she responsible? Or does she just have a lot of responsibilities and then expect you to handle her responsibilities even though she ain't handling her own? She has a lot to be responsible for, but she ain't responsible. She doesn't prioritize. She doesn't take anything serious. Is she responsible? Does she have integrity and initiative? Or do you have to micromanage? Do you have to micromanage? It's hard to lead somebody that you got to micromanage all the time. And when I say micromanage, I'm talking about she don't do nothing unless you there. She don't do anything that y'all talk about unless you do it with her or unless you tell her to do it. Y'all talked about eating healthy. She don't eat healthy unless you there, unless she eat with you. Any other time, she just eat whatever she want to eat. Y'all talked about not smoking and drinking. She don't smoke and drink around you. Any other time, she doing what she want to do. Does she have integrity and initiative? I'm just being honest. I'm being straightforward this podcast for real. Because it gets tiresome. Like some of these conversations get tiresome. Like you hear the same things over and over again sometimes, but it's like, at what point do people apply what they learn and what they talk about? And you just be looking like, what the hell is going on? I don't know. I don't know what's going on, bro. But let's carry on. Erykah Badu. So Erykah Badu just started this conversation, just started a discussion, right? And it went into a gender, female, male, feminine, masculine, type of conversation. And it gets, I want to talk about it from a different standpoint though, because I'm going to bring it up. Hold up, let me bring it up. So she says that I will not settle for anything less but my king. Where are you? Right? And the comments went crazy. The comments went ballistic when they saw this. And I mean, I get it. We talk about the good men, good women, king, queen conversation and all this other stuff. But I want to talk about it from a different standpoint. I want to know, like, at a certain point, right? Erykah Badu was in her 50s. And it's like at a certain point, you have to ask the question, when do you come to the realization, or when do you come to the point or to the age where you settle with reality? Let's talk about reality. At what point do you get content and become content with reality? When do you get to a point where you say and deal with the harsh truth and reality of saying, even though I want this, it's not meant for me. Maybe it's not meant for me. Maybe I don't deserve it. We always feel like we deserve something. Maybe you don't. Maybe you already have what you deserve. Do we ever think about that? Maybe something just isn't meant for you, regardless of how much you desire it. That's a harsh reality. An uncomfortable truth. You have to get to a certain point where you're just content with who you are where you're at and what you're doing. At what point will you be content with the world that you created? You spent years, decades creating this world. At what point will you look at it and say, you know what? This is my world. Why is there this constant inadequacy and this constant desire for more? And I see it more with women, to be honest with you. I see it more with women. It's just this greed. And that's all it is to me. To be honest with you, that's all it is. It's greed. You want to have it all and do it all. And then stress out. I be seeing so much stress on people's faces, and all the stress be a lot of times is just greed. And this constant desire for your life to be omnidirectional or omnipotent, depending on the type of person you are and the type of ego you have. You want to be omnidirectional. You want to be satisfied in every single area and every direction of your life. And is that at a certain point, are you going to be content? Now, people say, yeah, men are greedy too. Yes, men are greedy. But the thing about it is, to be honest, men want the world. Women want the universe. There's like this never ending feeling of inadequacy, that there has to be more. You want to do more. You want to go other places. You want to be somewhere else. You want to be someone else. You want to have more. And at what point do you say, maybe I have enough? Maybe I have what I need. Maybe I already have what I need. I saw the video with Fox Soul, Vivica A. Fox and all them. They was talking about, said the same thing Erykah Badu said. All these women in their 50s. Mary J. Blige, Taraji P. Henson, Tracee Ellis Ross, like all these women just saying the same thing in this conversation. Just wait for your king. I'm waiting on my man. God will send you your man. Maybe God already sent you your man. Sometimes God already gave you what you need. You already have all of what you built for your life. And the things that you did have, you didn't want because you wanted more. So sometimes we get rid of what's good to chase what's great, even though what's good was actually the most realistic. Sometimes what was good was actually the most realistic. And what you think is great is just fantasy. So you leave reality to chase fantasy. And then you set yourself up for depression and anxiety, all because of greed, these over aspirations that aren't even necessities for the life that you're living now. Maybe what I am can't have that, no matter how much I want it. Unless I change into something else completely to get it, which would cause you to go on a completely different journey that you might not even care about. And it may take more time. It may take years, especially if you're already 50. It may take 40 more. Sometimes our desires sabotage our entire lives. Sometimes your desires make life worse. You can't live in greed and then ask to be blessed. How much more do you want? I swear God just be looking like,
what more do you want from me? Oh my God.
But thank y'all for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Peace out.